All right, time to get started. Time for some more game dev. Working on the Dark Tower Defense game in GDevelop. Hopefully everyone's having a good night. Not working too hard out there. It's almost Friday, almost the weekend, so there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Just a little bit of light at least. Alright, so getting back into wherever I left off. Obviously I have GDevelop open here. And let me move something here on the screen. Alright, continuing some work on the 8th and so far final tower of the game, the Blood Tower, which is a bit of a player's resource, sacrificial, high damage output kind of tower. So, trying to think of where I want to dive into this. I think, let me double check my game version here. I think this is correct. So we've got... pretty sure this is the one I want to use. So I'm going to rename this. Actually, I'm going to leave that. I think that might have caused a problem somewhere else. I'm not going to rename the scene, but I did want to double check. Where is it? Map building. In the map building events. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could disable that thing down there, can disable this. Then I'm going to need to go to the towers in my inventory, the actual tower object. And I'm going to update the sprite object to the one I made last night in Blender. Still need to do some UV mapping on that piece, but we have a placeholder for now. Alright, so this is the one right here. So we're going to do... I think it's this one. No, that one right there. And if we preview that, that's what it looks like all big. But if it's smaller, it'll look something like this. And later I'll add maybe some actual texture on there, but that's what we're working with so far. So if I place the towers, go to the blood tower, we get this. Then if I go to where that tower spawns, let's go there. Let's see, where are we? April 10th? Kind of crazy how fast time seems to fly. Everyone experiences time a little bit differently, but for me it seems like every year goes faster and faster. I guess it's all perspective. Okay, thinking about where I'm trying to go here, so let's close this one. I want to find the tower upgrades. Why do I have this? This isn't doing anything. Disable that. Okay. Sorry, just looking over some stuff here from before. This comment seems out of place. Creating the tower upgrade buttons. Okay, so this section here is for the original tower that you placed down. Now I'm trying to find the tower upgrades. So creating the tower upgrade buttons right here. Okay, here it is. It was 1, 2, 3 layers deep, so I had to expand it out. So, but this comment, why is, there we go. It's just throwing me off. It's not where it needs to be. And then this, let's see. Okay, yeah, that should be there. So the red button is creating the button there. Now we need to find when the upgrade button is clicked. So expand this down here. And if it's the red one, that's the one we want for the blood tower. And we want to shrink that tower head, maybe even make it hidden. Let's see what it looks like hidden. I'm not sure that we have to have it. So let's go to Tower Head. What was it? Tower Head 2. Let's see, we're changing the tint of Tower Head. Let's actually hide it then. And we won't do anything else with it at the moment. Let's just see if that works. Okay, why is it stuck on green? How odd. They're all stuck on green. Huh, okay. Let me think. Because I fixed that recently. I think this is a matter of I did an upgrade. I mean a fix. That didn't carry over to this build. So what did I do there? I needed to go to... Let me double check GitHub real quick. Alright, well, I guess we're chasing that bug. That's fine. Okay, so let's think. Whenever the tower base is hovered, we need a condition. Whenever it's hovered and we have enough currency, it's supposed to turn green. So, let's see here. Tower base. We might actually be very close to where this happens. If the indicator is not visible and the cursor touches on the tower base, so we have RGB, so 255 is green. So this is where we're turning it green. Turn the tower base green if conditions met. Then I need to find where we... So we could just try. Let me do a new event here. Let me just see if we can do something real quick. So if the cursor or touch is not on the tower base, and then also if, let's see, I would like to do a check for the tint. I'm not sure I can do that though. So I might need to do a Boolean instead. So we'll do let's go to the scene variables. Shouldn't be too bad. Add new variable. This will be, we'll do scene. Tower base green. Maybe I could do something different. Let's see. Tower base hovered for upgrade. Something like that. So instead of changing the tint right here, we'll just do a turn on of that variable. So let's see, find that now. Variable, change variable value. And we'll turn that to true. Let's change the actual tint and drag that down here. Don't think that we need this event. Tower base equals 0. Number of animation. Do we really need to call out the animation? Not right here. I don't think that we do. So if the number of scene variable light current value is greater than tier 1 cost, whatever that is at the moment, then okay, yeah, so we already had tower base tint as normal set to false. Then change the variable tower base hovered for upgrade set to true. And here's where we need to check that the value of that boolean. If it's true, then we'll change it to green. Let's see. I don't want to do it all the time. Like I want to trigger this one single time. Hey Travis, how's it going, bro? Haven't seen you in a while on here. You been keeping busy? So what did I do here? I did a check last time because I don't want this to just trigger every single frame. Oh man, super busy with like same old, or is there new stuff going on? So we'll say if the cursor touch is not on the tower base, and if this variable is true, Oops. We can definitely turn that to false. But the one I'm trying to figure out is this every frame one. He decided to take on a much smaller project for a while till things calm down. Yeah, fair enough. It keeps things fresh, doesn't it? I mean, if the game dev or whatever project you're working on is stressing you out, then doing it a little bit wrong, I suppose. Yeah, thanks for asking. This game's coming along just fine. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Currently working on the 8th and final tower tonight. Did a little bit of Blender work last night, and tonight I'm doing the code side of it. So it's for the blood tower. And at the moment I'm fixing a general bug, and then after that I'm going to get into the mechanics of the tower. So that's kind of fun. The blood tower. Wait, I think I made these as a scene variable. That should actually be an object variable. Yeah, that should be an object variable. No, I have not heard of that term. Nor do I know how to pronounce it. Okay, well, I'm going to change this. I need to add a variable to the tower base. So you go here. This is being upgraded. So being upgraded. I could probably use that variable. Maybe along with tower base tint. Okay, let's try this. So if the cursor's on the tower and these conditions are met, let's get rid of this one. Instead, let's do an object variable. There we go. Isekai. Japanese. It's a genre of storytelling. It means another world. You've been watching a bunch of different animes and reading. Nice. So are you you're super into it? Are you like making a project based on that or something like that? Let's delete this one. Object variable. Have tower base. So if that's true, we're going to change the tint. And then I think we can then set that variable back to false. Writing a light novel. Sweet. You upgraded and edited your Dragon Vanguard book. What kind of upgrade did you do with it? I'm sorry the job's been so rough, man. Can really drain the energy. Definitely sucks. It's nice to escape into our little worlds sometimes. Okay, we're gonna not use this. Instead, we're gonna do... Let me see what this bug is looking like at the moment. Okay, so they still stay green. The cover art and editing. Awesome. Is it is the new cover art live on Amazon? The Kindle store. All right, here's what I'm seeing. Oh, 2 weeks until I'm glitch. Yeah, I keep promising to fix my camera, but because it keeps glitching, it keeps flickering. And so I've been given an ultimatum, and if I don't change, well, I mean, I kind of set myself up for it. I said if I don't change my configuration within 2 weeks, I'll change my username to glitch. And so someone called me out on that, so I need to fix it within 2 weeks. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. Yeah, very nice. Nice work, dude. Let's see. All right, so if the tower base tint is green, set to false. Okay, I guess I won't. Yeah, I did some stuff in Blender. Nothing too crazy, but I'll show you what the idea was at least. Let's see. Looks like some of the changes. What is it doing? It's lagging out. There we go. It's a bit of a it's a step pyramid. You know, they were used for, you know, blood offerings, and so I thought it was a little bit fitting for a tower that might be a little bit. For example, it costs your resource, your blood, so to speak, in order to use it. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of Aztec looking. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm still going to come back in here and put some actual texture on it. Not that it matters too much since it's going to be so small in the game, but for now it's just kind of a placeholder color with no texture whatsoever. He called it theater. Actually, I guess the columns had some texture, but that's about it. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And yeah, I'm just fixing a stupid little highlighting color issue here, and then I'm going to move on to the logic. George Carlin's pretty great. Oh, you like that minimalist design? Yeah, you know, and that's one of the reasons that it's good to actually put assets into the game world to really know what you want. Again, it's only green here because of my bug, but I could disable that real quick. Yeah, obviously any more detail would probably be lost. The idea was maybe to use a stone look, though. Like, for example, a stone look that's been blood stained. And so I might play around a little bit with that, but that's still the general look that I'm going for. And I'll probably honestly redo some of these other towers because they're not my original work. I just made some subtle changes to them and then put them in the game. The blood tower is Yeah, it's on the base layer in the game world. So it is affected by the 2D lighting. So the shadows won't change on it, but the color, the tint does change based on the world. So it'll look different, for example, than here in Blender. So you're right about that. In fact, I'm going to forget about the green issue for now and just move on to the fun logic. So what we're going to need that's a good question, is it? I mean, I think it's allowed to. I haven't actually paid much attention to that particular interaction. Yeah, it sure is. That's funny. I mean, honestly, that's good. I wanted it to be able to do that. I hadn't really looked to see if the lightning tower was doing that. How you doing tonight, Code? All right. Oh man, power outages are quite annoying. Did they get it back on, I assume? Oh, just now? That's super annoying. Glad they got it, though. So what I've done so far is whenever the blood tower is created, I told it to hide the tower head. It'll still exist for technical reasons, but we don't need to see it. And see, I feel like I need to write out. Let's do this. Just need to write out a little bit of what I have in mind here. So this is So first it's going to charge. Remember a power outage a few years back, everything in the fridge went bad. Yeah, I've had that happen as well. That's super annoying. And we've talked about getting, like, you know, an additional freezer or, you know, something so that we can have extra food saved up. But there's always that risk of if the power goes out for long enough, you just lose it all. Yeah, in Puerto Rico, pretty rough there. Code says it could set the scale of head to 0, then let it charge and grow before it attacks. Have the head stick to the enemy or something so you can see who is affected. Yeah, we do something to that effect. Several of the mechanics are dependent on a tower head existing, and so if I start moving it around, I think I'm going to break something. But visually, we can add something similar to what you just described for sure. I almost imagine like some sort of a whirlpool of sort of a holy mist, and then it goes from like a holy light whitish hue to sort of a blood red as it nears the tower, and then from there, after it charges, it shoots out. Something like that. Yeah, you got to get a quality uninterrupted power supply with enough battery to run on for a few hours, and then B, to absorb a lightning strike. It's the way to go for sure. As far as like data goes, most programs save data automatically pretty well these days, but obviously the hardware, yeah, you're one and done if it gets zapped. All right, so the charge, it's obviously going to charge up, and then it's going to shoot enemy. And then something like this. And I have several ideas in mind. Obviously, you'll just need to test some of them out. But so the charge is going to be let's say tower requires, I don't know, 5% of max, I'll just say currency. Absorbs over, I don't know, 1, 2, let's just say 10 seconds, but it could be less. It could be an adjustable number in the game, right? Cannot absorb if currency is less than or equal to 1, because it won't kill you. But it can bring you very close to the brink of death. Blaze, welcome. You did not miss it, bro. In the UK, you have great plugs and charge breaks that stop any surges demanding your PC or damaging your PC. are the charge brakes built into the wall, or is that like something that you insert into the plug? No school tomorrow. That's pretty awesome. Why do you have no school tomorrow? Then it's going to initially shoot the enemy, and this part... shot hits enemy. Enemy receives damage. Also is tagged. Timer. It's either a timer. Something like this. Then, oops, not that. Not that. You gave yourself the questionable challenge to play 100 Roblox games. Questionable, but fun sounding. Nice. The plugs are grounded and have fuse brakes that stop any surges. Very good, very good. Lumber Tycoon. The Roblox Lumber Tycoon. The music on the character select is a bop. So the enemy explodes. Now this is, I think, where the scale partially comes in. So, and a couple of different things I can do with this explosion. I think it's going to do a combination of all nearby enemies, or rather all, yeah, we'll just say all nearby enemies are also tagged. And so the enemy could receive damage on the initial shot. I'm not sure that's the most important thing. But it might be if the enemy dies while tagged, then the explosion occurs. And then all nearby enemies are also tagged. So, let's see. And I want the... I want the damage to scale over time, so let me grab, let's see, I need one of these rectangles. Let me find like a, Go away. Go away, pain. Copy one of these notes over. So we'll say explosion. Can't even read that. Explosion damage increases over time or as the tower kills enemies. And let me make that larger. That note needs to be a more bloody color. All right. This is kind of what I have in mind here. Let's catch up on chat here. Night, Travis. Thanks for hopping on, bro. Hope your work gets better for you. And good job on the book. If y'all didn't see from earlier, he's had this book on the Kindle store for a while, but he upgraded the cover. Looks pretty nice. And he did some editing in it recently as well. So, nice work. What does the tower do if you're on 1 HP? It will pause the charging, so that it will not kill you. Reminds me of, let's see where, oh, here it is. Reminds me of the poison. They're probably in other games too. Maybe PoE does this. Diablo 2 was the first game I played that did this. The player can receive poison and it'll nearly kill you, but it'll take you all the way down to 1 HP. And then it'll just pause. It won't damage you beyond that. But obviously it makes you really squishy, because if you take 1 more point of damage, you're dead. The tower will not kill you, but it can get you really close. You don't want to sacrifice too much. It seems useless in endless mode. Well, why do you say that? Because you'll have a lot of HP, right? Or are you saying that the HP cost is useless in endless mode? I mean, it's only going to stop if you're literally at 1... it's not really going to stop working. It's going to continually draw unless you don't have enough. So it's going to draw like at a pretty fast rate. But if you only have 1, let's just say HP, it's going to be your light resource. But let's say you have 1 HP. You're not really likely to be just sitting around at 1 HP because you have things to generate. So I imagine this would go hand in hand with like the Earth Tower, which are akin to those Plant vs. Zombies sunflowers. They give you light every few seconds. So, you know, I'm envisioning you've got some Earth Towers out there. So if you've got an Earth Tower giving you light, you've got a Blood Tower taking light. There are going to be some balances in there to keep it in action. And I'm just the dev, so I don't know what all of those are, right? So I think it's going to stay in action. And then, so it also serves as a little bit of a currency sink, which I think games need. Yeah, synergies. That's the word I'm looking for. And then the damage itself is going to scale over time. So my hope is that it actually gets better in the end game. And if it isn't, I want to fix it to where it is. My goal is for this to be a great end-game tower and maybe a weaker early game tower. So if the individual tower has been around for, like, let's say 50 waves, the explosion is going to do exponentially more damage than one that's only been around for 2 waves. So it's kind of got to earn it. That's the hope. You don't trust your laptop when it comes to rhythm games? Too much lag there, Blaze? Full glass cannon build incoming. All right. And I'm staring at this because I'm trying to decide. So we've got several towers. Almost all the towers do direct damage. I'm not convinced the initial shot needs to do the damage. I'm thinking when the enemy that's been tagged by the blood tower dies, then it does the explosion and tags all nearby enemies within range, who then, if they die, they explode. I think that if it also did damage, it might be OP. I think if the initial shot also did damage, it might be OP. So the blood tower itself might not even damage enemies, other than basically the tag, which is only set off on the condition of some other tower finishes off an enemy. Yeah, I guess the only damage, let me think. So that explosion. I'm a little bit on the fence about it. I do want it to do some damage. Will the explosion tag first, then do damage? Yes, the tag will come first. That way, if the other enemies get killed from the explosion, they will already have that tag, and then they'll explode. So the idea is to do a chain reaction. So it doesn't directly kill enemies, but explosion can, or rather damages nearby enemies. And I guess we would say technically the explosion could damage the enemy that's originally tagged, but it's probably going to be dead already. So it's kind of a moot point. So the blood tower does damage, just not here. So I'm going to remove... I'm just going to say enemy is tagged. Obviously we can make different versions of this. And if I were to put options like in the skill upgrades and stuff, could probably give the player like a fork in the road to choose on the tower variation. All right. 2 weeks until glitch. It's because my camera keeps glitching, and on Tuesday I told Code that I've been meaning to fix it. And at this point, I might as well just call myself, change my username to Glitch. And I said if I don't get the new cable that I need within 2 weeks, I gotta update my name. So hopefully I can get that cable and use a new camera. We're technically down to what? We need to update the text. 12 days. All right, let's use that. Did I test the variables branch? Not yet. And so I need to finish up a couple of changes on my end, and then I'm going to bring in the variables branch, and hopefully it's good in terms of like the merge. I know your work is good. I'm hoping the merge works. And if that works, then we can explore bringing in those Meteor fixes as well, which may or may not need to be more like a manual kind of fix. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We could look at that real quick. No, not that. We need... Yeah, because I've got the Meteor one, and if I go to that, it's not too happy with it. And again, I don't think it's because of... It has nothing to do with the quality of updates. It's probably like one of the file names changed or something. Okay, well that's pretty straightforward. No, that makes sense. Tell you what, let me make a note to myself for that fix. Actually, let's look here. So if I go to Meteor, was it on the actual Meteor object, this one right here? Removed the scaling. Did removing the scaling, because I think it's using, what is it? Not Weissort. It's depth effect. So you took out this one right here. Yeah, they were really tiny. The only other thing I was thinking, we could do what you did. I was wondering what it would look like if I go to, say, if we set the infinity point not at negative 200, but maybe like negative 1,000. But honestly, probably your approach is best. It's simpler, and if the game is more purely isometric rather than perspective, then that would make sense as well. To do just the initial scale and nothing beyond that. So maybe set one up here. Yeah, it looks a little bit funny. Let's try that. Let's try removing the behavior. It's probably less laggy too. And then Where do I actually create the thing? Tower events. Yeah, you're right. So here, create the object. Let's try scaling it then. You said 0.5. 0.5. Wait, did I put that right? Tint and scale, sure. I do think it's less laggy this way. Cool. I mean, that works. All right. The targeting. Yeah, if there's something different with the targeting, you can let me know for sure. Because I think I had it set to fire at that, like the meteor point for each enemy. Fix the issue with it not exploding. Dang it, GitHub. Let us merge. All right. Let me do. I'm not sure how far I'll get with the blood tower, but I can get started. Get started with the logic. So first things first. Let me go back to my notes. So first we need to get it charging up. You removed a condition. Then it sounds like that would be under one of the enemy checks. So let's see, enemies. That sounds like a plausible cause. So that's where we recreate it. Oh, right here. If the distance is below 100 pixels. So if tweened is true, the variable tweened is true, and variable splash created is false, and then if the ID matches. Yeah, we should do that. I mean, it would seem like the behavior would take care of it, would it not? Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying a kill timer, like just in general. But well, no, you're saying test if meteor is idle, then delete. Sorry, no, you're right. I get what you're saying. Corey's just being goofy. Let's do this. Okay. So that connects to each instance of Meteor. So run a quick test here. And it did delete. Yeah, so right there we saw it fire off, but then not explode because there was no enemy. And those guys are sitting there, and then they deleted. So I think we got everything besides the explosion not occurring issue. In the meantime, I'm going to create a new object. We need a resource bar. What will the max value be? Obviously, that'll need to be based on a variable here pretty soon, but let's just set it to say I don't know, 200. Show the label? Sure. All right, under UI, yeah, no, that's a different one. Let me see here. So I really thought, so undo. How far back can I go here? Let me double check something here. Forgot the name of the that object. Bar wave interval timer. Yeah, so there's that one. I close back out of this. It's corrupted again for some reason. Is it corrupted in gdevelop or corrupted in GitHub? The save itself is, man, it's so odd. I mean, I even got it to run on my machine. Just GitHub didn't like it. It's really odd. Oh, the check for Meteor ID is equal to backer ID. Seen a lot of explosions so far. Yeah, I mean they seem to be triggering fine now. I think you might be right. I'm not in love with where I have the explosions. The location of the explosions. I would like those to look a little bit more where you would expect to see them, because I think the explosion location seems to be lagging behind by the time the enemy moves forward and the meteor actually lands. Maybe there's too much of a delay. Timer, wave interval. Oh, you also fixed the Y sort for tower flames being behind enemies. Yeah, that sounds that sounds pretty reasonable. Yeah, no worries. Not a problem at all. Oh. uh, it's funny. It's hard to pick up on bugs sometimes. Honestly, I can't say I was even aware that that was an issue until you mentioned it just now. GLB wave interval seconds. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. 12. Okay. So stop doing that. Oh, need to end my search. That's why. So here I want to bar. Set the maximum value for that bar. That should be it. Let me see now. So I broke this a second ago. I'm just putting it back into place. A little resource bar there. No, I seriously doubt it was just you seeing things. I mean, we could put a couple out here and find out. I guess it's also a little hard to notice because they all have a flame particle on top of them. But, I mean... right there, it's definitely going under the enemies. So, let's see then for... Flame Tower Cone Particles.
is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
So let's see, maybe right here we could do, this is under, if the number of towerhead fire living on the scene is greater than 0, then repeat for each instance of the tower head. Then if the number of enemies on the scene is greater than 0, pick the one that's nearest. So we could probably do a check for the Z order of that enemy and change the flame particle to that +1. You could try that. That seems a little bit better so far. And it looks a little bit better too. I don't think I would have ever noticed that.
I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
Now it looks much more like it's engulfing the enemy. Your backup works. Well, I wonder what changed. Yeah, so we've got the idle deletion check now. That. Tween log. We probably don't need this log message anymore. And then true, false, and 100 pixels. We took out the ID check. Yeah, think we're good to go so far. Yeah, I think the ID was... the variable ID of the meteor. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It was probably something I was trying to work around at the time. I might have had multiple meteors exploding at the same time. But yeah, I mean, it seems to be working fine without it, so let's just get rid of it. For now. Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for all of those updates. Sorry that GitHub was unhappy about it. Really kind of exploring some of the nuances there. All right, so that's really about all the time I have for the evening. It's 11:11 over here, so everyone can make a wish. Yeah, we can remove the action that copies the ID. Let's do that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily make sense unless... because it's already picking the enemy that's nearest, so we don't need it for targeting. I don't think. Oh, I guess we can get rid of this test meteor as well. Yeah, fingers crossed. Let's see. Oh, that one got away. It was lucky. Almost 3, yeah. That one got deleted. Yeah, no, it's a heck of a lot better. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for walking me through those updates manually. Whatever works, right? And so for tonight, I have sketched out the logical plan for the blood tower. So when we come back, we'll implement those. Screen shake on impact. Yeah, well, I'll need to think about screen shake. I'm just concerned if we have... it's not a bad idea. I'm just concerned about like when it comes to the sound effects and the visual effects and then screen shake. Yeah, because we have the meteors going on, but then we're going to also have like all the other tower types going on. So if different towers are causing screen shakes, which I mean, I'm not sure, maybe it's just the meteor. Maybe bosses do, then, you know, it could be too much, but yeah, we'll see. Could always put that into the game and then make it an option if the player wants to disable it. But, you know, at that point, when you start giving them all of those luxurious options, then you get into the territory of scope creep. So we'll see how it goes. And, you know, unless the meteor, because right now the meteors are shooting off pretty frequently. I imagine the way that they're shooting off right now is more end game. Like you've really scaled up your skills. You've leveled them up quite a bit. So you're probably not going to have that many going off the way that they are right now. So it could be more feasible to do screen shake. Just kind of my thoughts at the moment. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. It's been a good Thursday night. And yeah, probably stream again like maybe next Tuesday or something like that. Yeah, accessibility settings. Once we get everything put in, it'll be a little bit easier to know exactly what we want to be adjustable. So we will get there. But yeah, Code, thanks for your help. And everyone else, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. So thanks. Good night. Thanks for the hearts and for the support.